Hello, Taylor Ellwood, your mad scientist and magical experimenter at magicalexperiments.com. And today I'm going to share part 5 of the 7-part story on how I used alchemy to change my life. This week we're going to talk about the process of fermentation. And if you haven't seen the previous video, you can watch it right above, right here, right above my head right there. There's a link to it, so go check that out to see the previous part. Now, let's talk a bit about fermentation. When you have fermentation, you actually have two different processes going on. You have the fermentation itself, and you also have the putrefaction. Because what has to ferment, in order for something to ferment, there has to be some putrefaction going on. There's something going away and turning into waste. Fermentation really, in some sense, becomes it's a process of seeding and getting things ready to grow. But it's also that process of putrefaction as well. And in Seattle at the time that I just moved there, that's really what that third week there was fermentation. And it was really a week of putrefaction as well as fermenting. In that week, I ended up taking a job as a house cleaner. I didn't want to take it. I had a bachelor's and master's in English. I had been partway through a PhD program in English. And yet, here I was cleaning people's toilet bowls, and it sucked. Let me tell you, it really sucked. I hated it, but it was the only job I could get. I had applied to different positions, but no one was biting. And, we were starting to get some pressure from the people we were staying with, my partner's relatives, to move out and get our own place. So it became very apparent that I really needed to just take a job in order to make that happen. So I took that house cleaning job and I worked there that week, and I hated myself. I felt like I had compromised. I had given up on what I knew I could do. Now, as people will say, sometimes you just have to do whatever it takes to survive, and that's true, you do. But the thing that really struck me was, as soon as I took that job, within a couple days, I started getting more and more requests for interviews. And it was also during that week that I met with a friend of mine, and she had a recruiter friend of hers look at my resume, and that recruiter basically said I wouldn't hire him. And when she asked why, she said, because there is so much negative feelings coming off of this, and I can feel that I wouldn't want to have anything to do with him. The truth was, I was feeling really depressed, and I was feeling angry. I was angry that I hadn't gotten a job that I felt I deserved. And what I didn't realize really is that you don't deserve anything, you earn it. You work for it, and you do whatever it takes to show that you're willing to work for it. That was the lesson I learned that week, and that was really through this alchemical process of fermentation, because part of me was putrefying, and at the same time, part of me was really going through this fermentation process, this recognition that I needed to change how I was presenting myself, that I needed to put myself out there more. If I really wanted to get a better job, and if I really wanted to create a better life for myself, I needed to stop feeling sorry for myself because I wasn't happy where I was living. And so that alchemical process of fermentation was really working through me and showing me how I was putrefying, but also how there was a possibility for further growth if I was willing to, really do some of the hard work I was doing, not just cleaning houses, but really cleaning myself, because I needed to clean myself out. And in a way, I feel like I took that job because that's what it was about. That was how the magic, how the alchemy was working through me at that point in time. So, that's a lesson that you can take for yourself when you look at, if you apply this kind of alchemy to yourself, that sometimes part of the alchemical work is really about cleaning yourself inwardly, here and here. It's about cleaning the parts of yourself that maybe are getting in your way. It's getting rid of what isn't working. It's discovering the putrefaction and recognizing it for what it is, and then asking yourself how you can truly ferment yourself, how you can create that process of fermentation, laying the seeds in order to, on fallow ground, in order to open yourself to the possibilities that are available to you. And all of this that I'm sharing is, in its own way, part of my upcoming masterclass Joy, which, if you haven't heard about, please make sure you subscribe to the Magical Experiments e-list, where you will be able to get more information about it. And if you have a comment, feel free to leave it below. And if you haven't subscribed, make sure that you click on that in order to do so. And next week, we'll talk about the 6th process of alchemy and how I use that to help change my life. Thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to chatting with you next week.